Good evening. Hey, this is Jim Howard. Jessica Howard is also online. She's kind of backing me up in case anything happens. We just wanted to come out tonight and talk about something that's really been bothering me a lot. In fact, I'm probably going to do a little bit more on this later on. I've been out on YouTube and I've been seeing a lot of church safety organizations pop up. That's great. The more the merrier, as Christ said, those who are not against us are for us. And so I do not, I want you to understand, as a good friend of mine once said, we do not have competition, we have God. I feel like that we're doing the ministry that we're supposed to be doing, but sometimes when I see things that really concern me, I have to speak out about it. I have said before that if you go to a web page and they want to talk about church safety and security, and they have a person standing there in tactical gear on, or they're showing you how to go into rooms and different things like that, you really have to be careful with that because that's not what we're about. Now, lately, I've been seeing a lot of YouTube videos that are showing firearm qualifications. Now, for churches, as I watch these, the main theme all the way through it is that if you're going to have an armed safety team, that you have to have firearms qualifications. Well, I'm going to tell you right now that we don't, and we shouldn't. And this is just something that should not happen. We're going to get a little deeper into this once we get started with the webinar. I want you to understand that I'm going to try if I can, because I know that there's some hard-headed people out here, but I'm trying to save them. It's because I love you and I don't want to see something go wrong. So we're going to talk about this in a little bit. Right now, we're going to talk about some current events, and I'm going to talk about the current events tonight. Jessica is really busy with some of the things that she's doing. I'm happy that she's out here because she'll help me watch for questions and things like that. But the thing I wanted to talk about, and I talked about this today, if you do not have a Rumble account, please go sign up and follow True Christian Talk, because today we talked about the Covenant Christian shooting in Nashville, Tennessee. Now we had a webinar on this, and we talked about the shooting and what we saw and some of the things that some of the things that were good and some of the things that were bad. Uh, March 27, 2023, we know that the shooter went into the school, killed 6 people, killed 3 adults and 3 children. And it's just a terrible thing. Well, right after the incident happened, it came out that there was a manifesto, but yet they would not release the manifesto. And I had been asking over and over, I have been asking a lot of people in the know and in my circle why there was no manifesto pushed out. Because, I mean, I went and looked, and you can just see that anytime that it appears to be a white male that's involved in the shooting, that the manifesto appears like the next day. And I went out and did a lot of research and found 4 incidents of an active shooter, of where a shooting is going on where multiple people are gathered and there's a possibility of multiple deaths. And I went out and looked and saw that there was 4 what they considered transgender active shooters, this being one of them, where no manifestos were put out. There was social media stuff put out, but nothing was ever brought in that told us anything about the reason behind it, the actions behind it, why this happened. It really wasn't anything at all. We couldn't find anything. Where yet on the others, where we were, we can talk about Charleston, we can talk about New Zealand, we can talk about all these others that happened, the Tops grocery store, all these that a white male was the shooter. The very next day, sometimes the day of, their manifestos was published so that you could read all about it. And of course, one of the things that they said was that they didn't want to publish the shooter from Covenant Christian School because they said that it might encourage others to do the same thing. Well, you'll put out somebody else's, and I mean, these are manifestos that talk about, white people being exterminated and all, just races taking over and all these different things like that. If that doesn't inspire other mentally ill people. I just really don't know what is. So to say that that is the reason why you didn't post it, I'm not really for sure. Well, I got word that Steven Crowder, who has a Rumble page called Louder with Crowder, was going to publish the Covenant Christian School shooters, what they called her manifesto. Now, I'm going to show you the manifesto. I'm going to go through it with you in a second, but I just want to tell you that it really didn't. Here we were expecting, I guess, something sinister that we don't want to see or we don't want to read, but it reads just about like any other manifesto that is out there. I don't know. I'm for sure there's a political reason behind not wanting to let this out because of it being a transgender female that was going by Aiden, but it didn't really matter. It didn't really matter. We need this information out here so that we can prepare to be ready for when school shootings happen, know what to do, what we can do to slow them down, to prevent them, to be able to stop them. And so this is just, like I said, Crowder put it out here. We were able to grab screenshots. I mean, they encouraged us to pass out the information, to show it. Now, Nashville, Tennessee Police Department has not verified it, but has not denied it as being the manifesto. And plus, right now there's an investigation on how the people from Crowder's group got the manifesto. So here we go. This is the manifesto. Well, if I can get it to go, we'll have it. All right. So on February the 3rd of 2023, Audrey, she listed herself as Audrey up at the corner, put out this right here. And Crowder did a really good job on typing out all the things that you can see. And of course, at the very top of it, it says the name, and then it says, kill those kids, those crackers. Going to private fancy schools with their fancy khakis and sports backpacks with their, I'm for sure that was an MF, but she didn't write it out. Daddy's Mustang convertibles. She uses the profanity. I wish to shoot you, weak ass. And then she put some more profanity with your mop yellow hair. Want to kill you all, little crackers. Now, a bunch of little faggots with your white privilege. And then she goes on, F you faggots. Now, what I pick up from this right here, there's an issue with what she would call white privilege. Once again, this is something that's out here. We hear it all the time. When we talk critical race theory, they talk about the white privilege, the different things like that. This is something that I'm really kind of, I really, when I read it, I'm a little, I don't know, I'm kind of like taken back by it because she grew up in a family that was well-to-do, had money. They sent her to this school, this private school. So I think that there's something else that has happened. And as we were talking on it on Rumble today, what we were talking about was there bullying because of when she went to the school and people found out that she was trans fluid, didn't really know what she was going to be or wanted to be. Don't know. It would be nice if we had more, because I understand there's like 20 folders out there of her rantings and ravings. But it would be interesting to look at this and analyze this to see if we could get some more information on this. Because if it is a bullying thing, we need to find out about this. This is a way that we can help. We can stop these things. She goes on in her next one where she does a later day. Now, this is written in a notebook. Later scheduled death day. She goes in and describes what she's going to do. Now, when I read this, I'm like, this is true planning here. This is not like I'm just going to throw some guns together and go do this. She goes through a time frame where she's putting everything together on what she's going to do that day. And it just, as I read it, I'm kind of like, I'm just kind of, I don't see this in other ones. Most of the time, the manifestos, when they write things like that, it's all about hate and why they want to do this and how many people they want to kill and who they follow, all these different things like this. This was almost like a mission. I'm going to plan this out. We're going to synchronize our watches so that we can go and do this. I just found it interesting because I've never really seen one like this. Now, there may be others out there and I just haven't seen it. I don't know, but I've never seen one this specific on what to do during the day. It's like following a plan to make sure that, you know, she gets the job done that she wants to do. Now, one of the things I noticed down at the bottom, she was talking about time to die, um, open fire towards southwest entrance. I do know that there was reports that there were diagrams of the school drawn out. I mean, I believe it because I'm looking at this scene, how much she has put together a plan. I mean, this is almost like a vacation you're taking to put down when you're going to go to the Smithsonian and then you're going to walk over to this one museum and you're going to go to this and this and this. I mean, I was reading this and I was like, this person had been thinking about this for a while, for a while. Now, on death day, what she called the dark abyss or death day, 327 when this happened. She said, today is the day. Yes, the day has finally come. I can't believe it's here. Don't know how I was able to get this far, but here I am. I'm a little nervous, but excited too. Been excited for the past 2 weeks. There are several times I could have been caught. I'd really like to know what that is. I'd really like to know where she almost got caught to see where the red flags, because we talk about these red flags, and this is something that we can learn from. If there was something that she did that somebody looked at her and could have made a call, could have notified somebody or said something, then, as we talk about, see something, say something, then maybe this could have been stopped. She goes on to say, especially back in the summer of 2021, like I said, I would really like to know what happened that day to maybe we could have had a day to where we could have stopped this. We see it over and over and over again, red flags. The shooter in Maine right now, we're seeing so many people that have come out and said, listen, we contacted the police. We say police departments told other police departments about this guy. So there was a lot of red flags out there that nobody really took serious, because I understand they went by his house to do a welfare check and he wasn't home. So they just didn't bother with it again. So we have to make sure that when we have these type of things happening, that we're putting it out there and we're trying to get local law enforcement involved in it or law enforcement around the area. She said, none of that matters now. I'm almost an hour and 7 minutes away. I mean, this again, it's a specific, it's just really down to the minutes. Can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm ready. I hope my victims are. My only fear is if anything goes wrong, I'll do my best. This is a coherent person. It sounds like this is not the mumblings. I mean, when you do look at the writings, I'd love to have somebody look at the writings and tell me what they see, an analysis of it, because it's very difficult to read. I mean, I've blown it up, and I'm really happy that Crowder and his group did what they did, because it is just hard to read. Goes on to say it might be 10 minutes top. I'll do my best to prevent any of the sort. God, let my wrath take over my anxiety. That just blows my mind. God, let my wrath take over. I mean, you're praying to a God now. What God is it that you're praying to? It might be 10 minutes tops. It might be 3 to 7 minutes. It's going to go quick. I hope I have a high death count, ready to die. Ha ha. Now she signs as Aiden. She signs as the guy. So these are things that we're seeing here, and it's just mental health issues that we continuously talk about, and we just see them over and over. Another thing I'd like to know, and this kind of like goes back to what we're looking at right here, is was she on some sort of medication that may have caused these type of actions? I don't know. There's still a lot out here. There's still a lot to analyze, to go through. And I'm hoping that because these have now come out, that we'll see some other people come out and talk about. Like I said, the handwriting, when I look at the handwriting, it's almost bizarre because you can almost see it deteriorate as the days go. Because when you go back and look at this, and when you see this one, I mean, you can see a more distinctive writing, but the more it gets toward the day, you can see that it's just, it's just now garbage. It's just hard to read. So this is something that we've been following. This is something I'll keep you up to date on. I just wanted to pass this on to you. But now let's get into what we want to talk about tonight, and that's weapons in the church. All right. You hear me talk about this all the time, weapons in the church. And of course, now with the constitutional carry, we have churches that are calling and saying, what do we do? Because all these people are carrying weapons out here. Well, what did you do in the past? Was there anything that you did if you happened to see somebody that looked like they had a weapon on them? Did you go up and talk to them? Or did you just point it out to one of your other safety team members? Hey, listen, this guy looks like he has a gun over there. Or did you go and talk to him? So unless you have some sort of policy that you're doing regularly of when you see what looks like to be a firearm underneath somebody's clothes, that you go up and talk to them, then it's not really going to change. You're going to have more weapons coming to your church. Yes, because of the constitutional carry. Now people don't have to go and get the concealed weapon classes. I had heard that concealed weapon classes had kind of like started to die out because people were just carrying. But I have here recently, I mean, within the last couple of days, I heard that they've started to pick back up again. People always come to me and go, well, with constitutional carry, you don't have any training. There's not a lot of training when you get your concealed weapons permit. Trust me, I've done the training. I've seen other people do the training. There's not a lot of handgun qualification time done. So this is where it comes into a problem that some churches feel that they need to qualify everybody before they can carry in the church. Here's my issues. If something were, let's just start from the beginning. Issues that I see doing it. What is the qualifications of the instructor? Now, the reason why I ask that question is because I've been certified through the NRA. I've been certified through USCCA to be a firearms instructor. And I can tell you right now, they're good courses, but they're not anything like the course that I went through for the Department of Law Enforcement or Florida Department of Law Enforcement to be an instructor to teach firearms training at the academy. And I still do that. When I talk about what are the instructions, some of these guys are just guys that have gone through a couple of NRA classes and they're pretty good at helping you learn how to shoot or how to, hold your gun, stance, breathing, all these things like that. They're great on that, but I still ask, what are their qualifications? I just feel uncomfortable because I know of one right now that teaches airline pilots how to fly. In his qualifications, he has told me that he's gone through the NRA. That doesn't give me a good feeling. And then what is the qualification course that you're using? I was watching one the other day, and I'm going to tell you that most of the people I know that are on these safety teams could not pass it, could not pass the course because it was some trumped up course like a SEAL team course that he was doing all these different things. And of course, while watching him, his gun safety was terrible. And I saw him do a couple of things that I just was like, I wouldn't want him as a person training me. It was just some really bad mistakes that are on the firing line. And so when we talk about these things, what are the qualifications of the instructor? What is the qualification course? The state of Florida for retired officers who have to qualify every year if they want to do the HR 218, which allows them to carry anywhere in the United States, is not a hard course to shoot. Just about anybody could shoot it. I could tell you that probably 70% of my safety team could qualify on it. But what do you do if a person does not qualify? Do you tell him, hey, listen, you can't carry your gun anymore? Are you going to search him when he comes in? Are you going to make sure he doesn't have his gun on him? Are you going to walk up to him every Sunday and say, remember, you can't carry your gun? Or is it a wink, wink, nod, nod that, hey, listen, I told you didn't qualify. Are you going to let them carry inside the church? I don't know how you stop them. I really don't, because unless your church has a no gun policy, except for those that the pastor says can carry, I question how you're going to do it. We don't even know how many people are carrying weapons inside the church right now. So how are you going to stop your safety team member? Even if you told him he could not be on the team anymore, that doesn't mean you can stop him from carrying. You could trespass him, I guess, but that's going to kind of look bad. But then here's the other thing that happens. If a person is involved in a shooting, one of the things that they like to do, and I know they did it in our police department, were to go back and look at the training records. So who's the holder of the training records? Well, if you're the guy that's doing the qualifications, you're the guy that's the instructor, you're kind of the holder of the scores. You're the guy that's going to say, well, you know, he shot a 70 out of 100 and 70 is barely passing, but we let him carry anyway. You're just putting yourself in the middle of something that you really don't want to be a part of. You really do not want to be a part of that in case of a liability case happens. The churches, look, they're just looking for any excuse to go after the church or go after anybody else that may have been involved in it. And the thing of it is I would see it as like going after you, making an example. Now, I know that there's NRA instructors out here, and they will qualify you as far as this NRA course, but that doesn't have anything to do with church safety. That doesn't have anything to do with what you're qualifying for. If you are a security guard, a police officer, anybody like that that is required to carry a gun on your job, the agency or the company that you work for will qualify you, and they have the insurance to cover that. Do you have it? Now, the NRA offers insurance, but it's insurance in case there's an accident on the range. If you're involved in a deadly force shooting, I don't know that would cover you. I don't know. I like I said, I don't want to be the first one that goes through that. So I really want you to start thinking about this type of thing. And plus you have to, let's say that you go for a year and you don't qualify people, and somebody gets involved in a shooting, and then all of a sudden they say, well, don't you qualify everybody? Well, how come you didn't qualify this person? He was carrying. It gives them too much ammunition to come back on you in case something happens. And I just don't want to see any of y'all get into any sort of trouble like this because you think that your group has to qualify before they can carry on church property. The state of Florida doesn't tell you you have to qualify before you can carry on state property. If you're a volunteer at any place, if you're a volunteer and the place has no problem with you carrying a weapon, you're not going to qualify for that. So you need to stop. I can't say this enough. Please stop. Stop doing this. These people are out here. To me, it is a money-making thing. They just know that, hey, listen, maybe I can't do church safety and security training because there's a lot of people out here doing it, but maybe I can do firearms and qualification for you to be on your safety team. And as I said, some of these qualification courses that I've watched are very difficult. They want to do the FBI course. All right. I've been around a bunch of y'all out here. I don't think you can pass it. I'm going to tell you right now, we have police officers that can't pass the FDLE course. So trust me, half your safety team is probably going to run around unarmed. This is what I would recommend to do. There's a couple of things I want you to do. First thing I want you to do is I want you to take it real serious, this letter. This is a concealed carry letter that was done by David Gibbs with NCLL. He's an attorney. He goes around the country helping churches, and this is what he does. He has this concealed carry letter. Contact me. I'll send you a copy of it. You can use it for yourself. It says you are responsible to know and obey the concealed carry laws of the state of whatever state you're in. Your church should say, we are not asking you to carry a weapon on church property. We're not asking you to, but we're not telling you that you can't. Florida has just came out and said, this is your constitutional right. You can carry a firearm. If you have not been convicted of a felony, if you're in good standings, you can carry a firearm. If you're not mentally handicapped, you can carry a firearm. Now, here's the other thing. You're not to act on behalf of the church, and we do not have the authority to deputize you. You're just acting as a civilian. If a use of force incident happens in front of you, this is your stand your ground. You're protecting yourself or other people. It's not one of these things where you're working as a security guard for the church. This is why we took security out of it. We don't want it to be that way. We want it to be safety. Next, if you discharge a weapon on church property, you will not be covered under the ministry's insurance policy, and someone may file a lawsuit against you no matter what you do. This can happen anywhere. This can happen anywhere. Of course, the reason why I love Florida is stand your ground. If you go back and look at it, if you're found not guilty by stand your ground, the statute, they can't come against you. They may come against the church or they may come against somebody else, but they can't come against you. Now, the other thing that this goes on, it says you assume full responsibility for your actions and impact on others when you carry a weapon. So please check your homeowner. I love this. I love this. I don't know what homeowner's policy David Gibbs is talking about, because I can tell you right now, they're not going to talk to you about you getting into an active shooting. That just, to me, that's just, it's funny. Please be aware that a bullet from a gun can travel through walls and possibly hit a person in a classroom or other location. He puts this in here. It's kind of like an NRA safety tip. I don't know why it's there. We all know that. Know what your target is, know what's behind your target. When we do the simulator training, we emphasize this over and over and over again, because a lot of the situations, a lot of the scenarios are in the children's ministry. And you always got to understand that letting a round go downrange, there's a wall that right behind that wall could be a child. Next, it says arriving law enforcement may consider anyone exposing a weapon as a deadly threat. We talk about that all the time when we talk about active shooters. As soon as law enforcement gets on the property, put your weapons away. You should have empty hands. You are responsible to secure your weapon at all times to prevent children or anyone from having access to it. I thought that was a funny one. I was going to take it out, but it actually happened at our church, where an off-duty police officer left his backpack in the children's ministry, which had his service weapon in it. So these things do happen. And then in case of any incident, and this is a part of your safety training you should do, designated ministry leadership person or persons are the only official spokespeople for the church. Let them do the talking. You know, the thing of it that just really bothered me, other than some of the things that happened at the West Freeway Church of Christ shooting, was that not even hours upon hours after the shooting, Jack, I'm trying to think, was speaking to the news. He was just doing a interview with them. If I would have been his attorney, I would have told him, do not talk to anybody until everything is over with. He's been involved in suits, several suits. He's been sued. This is information that we got, but don't talk to anybody. Do not talk to press. Do not really, the first person that you want to talk to is probably one of your team leaders. You want to sit down. You don't really want to say much more than that. Just make sure that you do not talk to the press. And of course, I'm going to talk about USCCA, because USCCA says one of the things that you don't want to do is talk to law enforcement. I have mixed emotions on that. I will tell you that right now. I have mixed emotions on it, but I'm not going to get into that right now. If you're going to carry, your church is not going to cover you, you should have some sort of coverage, some sort of insurance. And we recommend them. We're partners with them. We'll continue to use them. They're going to be at the conference Saturday. They're really top notch, and we're really impressed with what we see and all the training that they do behind us. So you come back to me and you say, well, what are we going to do as far as firearms? This is what you do. Go out and have fun and shoot. Okay. You can have some friendly competition. You see the cardboard targets underneath. How many people can get their shots in the circle? When we went out to Brooksville, where one of our friends has a range out there, we had some friendly competition on shooting. Do some drills that you might read online, but do not grade. Do not keep records. Do not have a pass fail. Go out, have a good time, have the fellowship, work with each other. if you go out and shoot and you see that one of your team members is having a hard time hitting the targets, you can recommend to them that they should go get some training, but do not keep grades. Do not keep scores. Do not have a pass fail. I'm just trying to tell you, attorneys are looking for any way in the world that they can make money. They're looking for anybody and everybody they can sue. If they find out that you're the firearms instructor for this guy who's just now shot up your whole complete church, they're going to come at you also. So don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Go out like we do when we go out to Brooksville. We go out there, and I go out with different churches. I have no problem with coming out and making recommendations. I have no problems with coming out and talking about tactical things that I've been trained on, that I can give you little tips, because the thing of it is, if you don't practice it all the time, it becomes a perishable skill. And I can tell you right now that it's been a month since I've shot, and I already know that I need to get back out there again and start shooting. So, Gary, if you're online, I'm going to be calling you soon because I want to come shoot. Go have fellowship. Go shoot, but stop keeping records. Stop the pass fail. It's going to do nothing but get you involved in a court case that you don't really have the money or want to be involved in. Jess, any questions?
I do not see any questions, no.
All right. I'm going to go through what we got coming up, and then because we're running just a little bit over normal time, but I'm going to run through real quick. So we got our conference coming up this weekend. I'm hoping to see a lot of y'all. It's been a year. I really love to see you again. It's our 7th annual Church Safety and Liability Conference. There's still time to sign up. Go to our webpage, TrinitySecurityAllies.com. You can sign up there. It's November the 11th, 2023, between 8 a.m. Doors will open at 8 a.m. We'll start around 8:40, and we go to 4 o'clock p.m. Breakfast, a continental breakfast, and a lunch will be given. Cost right now to pre-register is $45, at the door at $75. We've got a lot of speakers. Kevin Haggerty and I are going to do a True Christian Talk while we're there, give you an opportunity to participate. You can ask questions of things that we're seeing in the world today that are concerned, and we can talk about them. But we're really looking forward to this. It's really, once again, we're happy with who we have coming and talking and what is going on. Another training that's coming up here real soon. This is down in Port Charlotte, Family Church on January 27th, 2024. Can you believe it's right around the corner from 9 o'clock a.m. to 1 p.m. We're going to be doing some training there. We're going to be discussing church and personal safety. So if you know anybody down that way, it's at 235. I guess it's not Quesadilla Avenue in Port Charlotte. Doors open at 8:30. You can register on TrinitySecurityAllies.com. It's $25 per person, includes refreshments and a gift. Then we have another one that's coming up that's going to be up in Valrico, Florida, at Creekside Church of Christ. This is on February the 3rd, 2024, at 9 o'clock a.m. to 1 o'clock p.m. Once again, this is personal and church safety training, and we're really excited about these are new churches that have been coming online. We're really excited about these churches. So if you're in the area, you know anybody that's in the area, come on out. Registration cost is $25, includes refreshments and a gift. We have our members only this Thursday, November the 16th, and we are going to do our best. I mean, we've had a couple of things that have happened, and we've not been able to be there, but we're going to, unless the creek rises, I don't see anything that's going to stop us from doing our members only call. We have our free resources that are out online. You can go out and get these. You can download them. They're PDFs. If you're starting to think about putting together a safety team, these are free resources that you can get on your own. True Christian Talk on Rumble. They let us talk about anything that's happening. We've been talking about every issue that is going on in the world where Christians should be paying attention and and really praying over it and thinking about it and being ready to act. And that act, of course, right now is to vote. That's all I have. If you have any questions, please go ahead and ask. If not, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes and then I'm going to sign off and y'all have a great night.
I am not seeing any questions. No.
Well, I'm hoping I'm going to see all y'all at the conference.
I'll be there.
You're speaking. I forgot. Jessica's speaking.
If that's not enough of a reason to show
I
up, I don't know
know.
what it is.
I know. That's enough to bring anybody in.
Well, since there are no questions, I did want to bring up an interesting point for you, Dad. I have just finished reading the book on Columbine, and speaking of homeowners insurance, the homeowners insurance of the shooters at Columbine actually did end up paying out a lot of money to families of the victims because wrongful death by a child was covered in the homeowners insurance for those parents. So when he does say check your homeowners insurance, I guess that there are some weird little things in there that you can find coverage for, and it made me think of that when you were talking.
Well, but that falls underneath the category, like if somebody slips and falls at your house.
Well, it's
Homeowners.
wrongful death caused by your
Yeah.
dependent or by your child, but
Yeah.
it was interesting that it also applied in that situation.
Yeah. I could see that happening. I really could. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and call it a night. I hope to see you this Saturday. Thank you so much for being out here. Be safe and be blessed.